Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rogue Wave podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and the disruptors behind it. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on facebook.com/Rogue Matter Podcasts. Download this podcast immediately following the live stream on all major podcasting apps. Join the movement. Go Rogue, roguematter.com. I'm your host, Michael Dolce, as always, joined by my cohort in crime, the Lord of the Radio, Mr. Hassan Godwin. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, whatever. Keep going.
We've got a lot to talk about tonight because Falcon Winter Soldier finally ended. I've got thoughts. You've got thoughts. I'm more interested in your thoughts than anyone else's now that it's over.
Why is that? Why?
Because you've been every week to this point. You've been saying every week to this point, you've been saying, let's wait till it's over.
Yeah. See, that's the bullshit with fending you off by saying that for the last 6 weeks. Because now I gotta fess up and actually discuss.
This is it. This is it.
I know. All right. I've been preparing for this for a while, so we'll see how this goes.
We're gonna have a little pop luck dinner, which I know is your favorite new segment.
Yes.
Favorite.
Did you write that down? Did you copyright that yet?
No, I should though.
You copyright that and have a banner made to hang up in your office right there.
I will definitely have a banner made. There's no question. That logo is dope. I love everything about it. But we have a very special podcast tonight because we are welcoming.
We have guests.
The testosterone crew from Button Smash. How you guys doing?
Yeah. What's going on?
It's now a semi-annual event.
Sitting here this whole time listening to us. That's kind of not cool. That's not cool.
Waiting to pounce.
I'll go back in my corner.
It is a semi-annual event now where we cross over with Button Smash, but we're actually doing it because we have good reason to. I was going to wear the Falcon and Winter Soldier shirt tonight. Well, that's Captain America, but whatever. You know, you get the point. But instead, I'm wearing Star Wars.
Is now.
Spoilers.
I'm wearing Star Wars. Why? Because next week is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And Button Smash, you guys are going to be doing a very special show. And so we figured, why not have you on a week before when no one's talking about May the 4th?
Look, Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
No, I know. But I'm saying it's a week before. No one's talking. But we're getting the jump on everybody. Sergio, what is this big crossover? And what is this big event, I should say, that you guys are doing?
Oh man, it's amazing. So May the 4th, as those may or may not know, is basically Star Wars Day. Not really sure when it was established, but glad that it's here. So what we're doing is a big old stream where we celebrate everything Star Wars in accordance to video games. But we thought our good friends here at Rogue Wave, hey, why don't we do a little crossover? Why don't we do a little mingling of the minds here, the best minds on YouTube, on Facebook, on the internet in general. I mean, have you listened to these other podcasts and their shows? I don't think they give you as good as content as we do.
I love your bravado. That's what I love the most.
I don't even know what he was selling, but I'm sold. I'm buying.
I challenge you to watch Rogue Wave and
Pyramid Scheme. I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sorry, don't we get two more of my friends in on this?
Doesn't even matter.
I get two more of those friends in on this, and then we'll give you a nice timeshare in Key West. But yeah, I challenge you to listen to Rogue Wave and Button Smash and anybody else and think, oh, these guys are giving me good content as good as Rogue Wave and Button Smash. No, that's a lie. Absolute lie. We give you the best content in the world, and we're coming at it with Star Wars, and you're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh man, I need him on. We need him on every week. He's got to be our hype man. Holy cow! We don't even need him on the full segment. We just need like, Sergio, what's going on? He's like, we're the best.
We'll have a deep conversation about it.
Why listen to any other show?
That's my 401k into these weird funds. Then we'll have a long conversation about it.
Now, Sergio is the bad Cowdy Funky. Chris, what pray tell specifically are you guys going to be breaking down on the show? It's a series of categories. Give us a couple teases, and because we're going to actually run through them all, and I want to get Hassan's take on a lot of this because I just that's pretty much how I run the whole show. I just kind of say something, and Hassan talks
I'm on the show
the rest of the way, and I don't have to do anything. But Chris, give us a taste of some of the categories we're going to be doing.
All right, so obviously, like the easy way out is just to go with like what's the best game, but you know, each Star Wars game kind of brings its own elements, and each, like, to have a truly Star Wars game, there are different things you got to look for. So we're going to be looking at certain things like best original story, best dark side character, best light side character, best lightsaber handling, best vehicles, things along those lines. And if you keep an eye on social media, you should see us popping up with those different categories. If you want to weigh in, absolutely please weigh in. We're going to be talking about what the greater internet also thinks about these different categories. That way you guys can join in the fun. And of course, join us on twitch.tv/weareroguematter next Tuesday night, May 4th. And then you can join us in chat and tell us whether you think we are spot on or tell us how bad we are. We love that too. Either way, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, asking
All right.
for feedback on the internet has never gone wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You said Star Wars and you said internet. And you, and you said fans.
Here come the death
and
threats.
Open the floodgates.
So
I'm
right off the
surprised I
bat,
don't have someone come at me right now.
that's what I love also too, because you did a perfect segue. You guys out there right now, if you're listening to this podcast all the way up through May the 4th, which is next Tuesday, we are running a series of polls. You can go to twitter.com/rogue_matter, and you can vote on them there, where we actually have more traditional pick and choose kind of polls. And then facebook.com/weareroguematter and facebook.com/roguematter podcasts. We've got basically some posts going where you can weigh in with your write-in votes there. And it's definitely something you definitely want to do, because why not? Why would you not want to get called out on a national podcast, right? On a global podcast, right? We're going global here. I love it. At JSmack, this is what I want to hear from you. Give everyone just a quick 30-second on what Button Smash is for the uninitiated right now.
For the uninitiated, Button Smash is like hanging out with your friends in your mom's basement, whether you're in your 30s or you're in your teens, right? It's
I am in my mom's basement.
Classic.
Target audience.
You're coming in for the unfiltered kind of, I'm going to use the word raw, even though people don't really like it, but it's weird. The takes on what's going on in the video game industry. We got a lot of people who are afraid to say, their opinion, because you have people that might not talk to them anymore. We don't really mind if people don't get mad at us for our opinion. That's what we're here for. We're not going to change for anybody else.
I love it.
Yeah, and you're there for the memes. So come see.
I love it. I love it. And at TV's Casey, why don't you give us your Falcon Winter Soldier take right now? No, I'm just kidding. We're going to save that for next segment. We're going to go through that. I know you're dying to talk about it, though, right?
I'm chomping at the bit, baby.
He's been messaging me he's like, when do you want me on? I'm coming on your show. I want to talk about it so bad.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it 6 times. I don't even have to tell you how many times I got to watch it. It's only 6 episodes. I'll blow through it in an afternoon.
But what you can do is tell everyone, the scope of range that you guys are into outside of just, Star Wars in general. You guys have a wide variety of pop culture fancies that you guys can chat about at any point, right?
Yeah. You name it, I'm on it.
All right.
Books, television, film, cinema, and of course, video games and board games. Games of any kind, card games.
Reindeer games.
Reindeer games.
I thought I was saving the best for last there. I was clearly wrong. That was not as enthusiastic. We need Sergio. Sergio, what are we doing here?
Oh,
Give me your hype, man. Give me your hype here.
That's great. Oh man, it's incredible what we have going on here. I mean, we got I forgot the question.
You know what? Strong start. Strong start.
With that, we're going to unveil, in case people are not on social media and don't know, we're going to unveil the categories that we're going to go through. If you guys are Star Wars nuts, which I know you are, not just you, but the audience in general, because anyone who kind of listens to our show, I'm sure is into that galaxy that's far, far away. Here's some of the titles that you guys are going to be talking about. And Hassan, I know there's a couple of video games here that you actually have knowledge about. So this is really good, and I'm gonna try to pivot with that. So, best lightsaber handling. Which video game has the best lightsaber handling? We have the choices: Jedi Power Battles, The Force Unleashed, Jedi Fallen Order. And I know you mentioned at least one of those, Hassan, right?
Yeah. I have an opinion. I don't know if I'm right, though.
No,
go ahead.
You're never right, but you might as well give it. You walked into that.
I would say, I know. Yeah, you're going to walk into something in a minute. Jedi Fallen Order, for me, has some of the best lightsaber wielding action.
Oh man, this is good. Now you guys don't give your opinion because
I don't know if that's good
you're gonna be doing all this on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know about the
hold off.
resounding silence that came after that.
No.
Those are a little
Strong opinion. You're not. It's an opinion.
This is what I'll say though. This is what I'll say. We're not going to go through everything. We're not going to go through everything because I know you guys are going to talk about it on your show. But let's do one more of this topics here, and I think you guys can actually get into it. I think pick one. Actually, I'm going to pick one. Well, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to pick one of the categories, and let's dive into it right now? But just one of them. We'll save the rest. We'll save the rest for your Tuesday show. We don't want to break it, but I wanted to. I want to get Hassan's take on it, and I want you guys to kind of respond. And this will be a preview of what you guys are going to be doing next Tuesday. Which category would you want to dive right into?
I would say you pick, which one looks interesting to you?
Worst game.
I knew that was going to be the one you're going to choose. Yeah.
But my question is, do you want to save that for your show? And you're going to do it again on your show too. It's not like as if you're not going to do it, but this is with Hassan as part of this, and me too. But quite frankly, my video game knowledge ends in 1997 with Final Fantasy VII. So there's,
they remade it. You can make a comeback.
It's true.
Yeah. It does.
Or you can play the one that came after the good one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I got kids. My kids will probably end up being more aficionados when all is said and done. We could do that one or best lightsaber handling. Do you want to jump in the best lightsaber handling that we just did?
I'm good with worst game.
Okay.
Drop of knowledge.
Masters of Terras Kasi. Did I pronounce that in any way, shape, or form?
That's right. Good.
Demolition or Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
And do you agree as those are three good bottom of the barrel?
Hassan, is there another? Is there another bad? Was there ever a bad Star Wars game for you?
Yeah.
Which one? Which one would you pick?
I mean,
not of the ones I said, but do you have a write-in or?
I think. Yeah, but I mean, for the party line reasons, Battlefront 2 was pretty bad from EA.
Oh. Now, which Battlefront 2 you talking about?
Yeah,
the latest one, the newer one, the one with Iden Versio.
That's a bold choice.
I like the story, but I mean
that is a bold choice.
They tried to bankrupt me while I was playing the game, so with the
I do agree in a certain sense because they were kind of cowards when it came to the story, right? Like they advertised that we're going to play on the Empire side. We're going to see what it's like for an Empire soldier to be on the other side. And then they're like, they 30 minutes in, they're like, by the way, you're back in the rebellion.
Guess what? X-Wings, back to X-Wing.
So wait, Mom actually thinks that the Kinect Star Wars Galactic Dance-Off is the bad one? Is the worst one?
We live in a world where Star Wars.
Was that for the what's it called? The Kinect?
Kinect, yeah.
Oh man!
I can only speak to what I've actually played, and I wouldn't have gone near that.
Chancellor Palpatine.
I wouldn't have gone near that if Jesus Christ handed it to me with immortality. So
okay,
it is what it is. I don't know that one. I know I'm just saying my personal opinion was EA, but Episode 1 was pretty not great in my opinion.
Yeah, that's not good.
It was pretty not great at all. So.
I'll tell you
look, Battlefront is a beautiful game. It's gorgeous. It's it's a beautiful game. I don't mind the story. I actually enjoyed the story. It was just all the little gimmickry that that they pulled while you were trying to immerse yourself into the story, which was the BS of it. But Episode 1 was like, what is this? What am I?
I'll chime in. The worst one I ever played, because it's the only one, was like the original X-Wing Star Wars game.
That one?
A lot of people mad at you. A lot of people.
I just didn't know how to play it. I think I was like 7, and I'm like, what the hell?
You're talking the wireframe.
I have the joystick with the Atari. Like I don't know what's going on.
Oh, the Atari. That's completely different. You're not talking about the arcade game.
No,
the arcade game is baller. Like the arcade game is the pinnacle. That's the gold standard as far as I was getting from my generation.
There's also a flight sim called Star Wars X-Wing, which was, I think, the 3rd or 4th title in the TIE Fighter series. Very good for its time.
I've heard that. I had the Star Wars. I had Rebel Assault on the Sega CD.
Dude, Rebel Assault 2 is my jam. First game I ever beat. Nothing but trench runs.
You always remember your first time.
Yeah. And I think it's the same game, except it was just better. Like
it's basically the same game. Let's be honest. Every level, they're like, cool. Here's a new vehicle, and you're gonna do the same thing that you did in the last one. It's just different objects to avoid.
Son, you got me thinking though.
What's that?
Best arcade game that you can remember playing as a kid, and I'll start first. And this is actually not the best arcade game I've ever played. But it's the one that has stuck with my memory the longest. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. You ever played? Did you ever play that in the arcades? Popping quarters?
Because I had the good game Simpsons. That's the best.
Oh, that's a good
Best
one.
thing about the Simpsons arcade game, it didn't. The show was just barely in its infancy, and there are so many weird things in it, like Smithers being a cackling bad guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very weird.
You guys are all wrong. The correct answer is Dance Dance Revolution. Thank you very much.
No, that was after my
That's
time.
the ultimate nerd arcade game.
Absolutely.
That's the sweatiest game.
Gauntlet. That was the biggest quarter.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was just gonna say Turtles in Time. Turtles in
Turtles.
Time, one of my all-time favorites.
I was
Played
gonna
it on
say either
Super
Gauntlet
Nintendo
or
first.
it's either Gauntlet or Spy Hunter.
Ooh.
With my and this is going way back, and I apologize. Or Defender. That was my number one game.
Gauntlet Legends. Yeah. So there was Gauntlet Legends, and they did a port I think they did a port of Gauntlet Legends for N64, and then there was Gauntlet Stark Legacy that came out for PS2 later. That was basically Gauntlet Legends plus a whole bunch more stuff, like a bunch more levels that I had wore out my PlayStation playing. Gauntlet, friggin' rules.
Yeah, Gauntlet.
What about I was gonna say X-Men the arcade game.
Yeah.
Oh, you get 6 of your buddies.
Oh, that's right.
Standing in a line.
Yeah.
The dreaded double cabinet.
Yep.
Here's one that I'm surprised no one said because it's actually pretty relevant. You guys are going to talk about it this week. Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
Mortal Kombat was the most controversial game, and I do have a Mortal Kombat story for Pop Luck Dinner later. But that's got to be. I remember during snowstorms when it used to snow. We would walk down. My neighbors and I I was in 7th grade, and we used to walk down to the neighborhood pizza place because they had Mortal Kombat. They had 2 arcade games. They had that. They had Pac-Man, and they had one of those things where you put the arm in and you get a stuffed animal. And
the crane game.
So to this day, we used to just play Mortal Kombat, but we didn't have the blood version. They actually took out the blood version. It was all gray blood at that point because it was too violent.
On Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like a knockoff Mortal Kombat arcade game that they had in the pizza parlor where we would just go and we would just pop quarters in and just play and eat pizza and love being 12 years old.
It was the censored version. There was when Mortal Kombat first came out to consoles, there was the Sega Genesis version and the Nintendo version.
Yeah.
The Nintendo version, they actually had to had to remove the blood from that because Nintendo did not want there to be blood on that system.
Sega was cool.
Do you remember
Sega was
that?
like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Sega was like, screw it.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
That was the end for those playing at home. That was
You're old enough to remember that.
I
thought I saved the best for last there. I did not. I
remember that too. We're going to bring this up in our show, but I remember going over to a buddy's place because he had Mortal Kombat on his Sega Genesis, and I was like, "What is this game?" And he's like, "Oh, let me show you." And it was just like a whole open. It's like your mind just opening up, like that scene in Doctor Strange where he just starts going through different galaxies and stuff. You're like, "Whoa, this is violent! Holy crap! It's like real people getting killed here."
Yeah.
Which looked like the news was like, "Oh, this brand new violent video game, Mortal Kombat, where you can take out someone's heart. Like viewer discretion is advised. These images are very graphic, and it's like the pixel people, uppercutting heads off. So good. If you YouTube
the world hadn't
Mortal
met Grand Theft Auto yet.
Yeah.
Well, it had, but not one of the good ones.
Any of those news stories from back in the day, it's so funny now. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, we're so desensitized to all this violence that it doesn't matter.
It's so
now.
insane now.
Yeah, but they weren't wrong because the world is crap now.
Oh no, I was being sarcastic. I mean, we are just very desensitized to this violence now. I mean, video games has destroyed our entire culture.
We go back to the video game violence
You need to tune in. You need to tune in on next Tuesday for Button Smash. Well, actually, tune in Thursday first to get a flavor of it. They're going to talk all Mortal Kombat this week, and then on the May the 4th episode next week, they're going to dive super into all the Star Wars games. But when we come back, we're gonna flip it back to a little Rogue Wave style. We got Falcon Winter Soldier, and we've got 6 gentlemen here that have strong opinions. Well, 5. I don't really care about it. No, I'm just kidding. We got 6 people with strong opinions going to talk all about Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain America 4, and all that good stuff when we come back.
Welcome to Button Stash, the show about the best mustaches in gaming.
Casey, it's Button Smash. It's the new gaming podcast from the Rogue Matter Network. I don't know where you got mustaches from.
Well, I'm not shaving. But we will talk about gaming news, reviews, inside scoops, and retrospectives.
Join us live on twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, or download our episodes wherever you listen to your podcast.
But please, Casey, shave.
That commercial.
You love that commercial. Welcome back to Rogue Wave Podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture. As if we didn't have enough Button Smash, we just had more Button Smash in the commercial in between. So you guys getting all the love. By the way, you're all fired after the May 4th episode. So just let me know. Show's being canceled.
It's been a long time coming. I understand.
I didn't want to break it to you, but no, we're only joking. We're only joking out there. No, yeah, you can catch him again this Thursday. You can catch him next Tuesday doing a very special May the 4th episode, but you can catch him right here, right now, doing a little Rogue Wave style. Hassan and I have been talking for many, many weeks now, 6 weeks to be exact, about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
This will be the 6th.
Yeah, well,
this is the 6th.
A great many episodes.
Yeah, we did a preview. Look at it as well too. See,
whatever.
We did the trailers. Hassan.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. But that wasn't. That was out of context with the other week.
This is true.
It's out of continuity.
It's back when we thought the show was going to be good.
Stop it. Go on with your spiel.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what? The world thinks it's good. You don't. That's the thing.
So here's
because it actually had higher ratings than WandaVision. So
Is that true? I'm a little surprised.
I mean, it makes sense. Well, WandaVision was trash, so.
WandaVision was excellent.
It was dumpster. Dumpster juice.
It was adequate.
Dumpster
juice.
You guys don't like artistic innovations. You just want straightforward. You just want people kicking each other in the teeth.
My critique about WandaVision is that they spent too much time and money on the sitcom thing, which got everyone to stop watching, which got all of the advertising department in Disney to put out trailers for the next episode. Mandalorian didn't have to do that because Mandalorian was good. A lot of people that I talked to, and I know, it's like, hey, let me know when WandaVision starts getting good so I can keep watching it again, because I'm on episode 2, and I love Bewitched, I love Lucy, but I'm watching Marvel. I thought I was promised a good what is this? Meanwhile, people who are older, are like, oh, this is neat. I have no idea what's going on, but I can follow this. And then she tuned out after the Marvel stuff coming up. But yeah.
Here's the funny part. It is true that people with 12-year-old brains did not enjoy the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
it's very true.
People who were young didn't.
Well, it's true because they didn't have
I watched all those shows when I was younger, but when I saw the behind the scenes stuff, I was just like, oh, there's a lot of money, a lot of time being spent on this live studio audience, all this look and feel, and then all this other character stuff went to the side, like Quicksilver. Don't even get me started on Quicksilver, how he was and how he wasn't, and then how he was like this stupid joke. It was ridiculous.
Who cares?
Absolutely ridiculous. About what, Quicksilver?
They made a fun show, and the Evan Peters Quicksilver was just to bait the audience.
Yeah,
I think they succeeded.
Yeah,
let me ask you a serious question. If it was actually X-Men Quicksilver, what would he have realistically brought to the table? Because I've got news for you. Those movies are not very good.
Yeah, but now they're under the Marvel license, and now that we know that Marvel has it, we're expecting some mutant stuff. Obviously, not right now.
So were you pissed that you didn't get what you weren't promised?
Yeah.
Sounds like last Jedi-itis.
Yeah, I didn't go into it thinking that I was promised anything, but the fact that they showed Evan Peters, and they showed that he was Quicksilver. And then in watching an interview with the director of WandaVision and Kevin Smith, he admitted, it was just it was a throwback to he wasn't really Quicksilver. Mutants are coming. We weren't going to introduce him into WandaVision. I wasn't one of those who were throwing out theories that it was going to be like an X-Men introduction, because that would be ridiculous right now. But to even have that in there, like let's say there's like a mention of Reed Richards, but it's not Reed Richards. Gotcha, you're all dumb. And it's just like, why would you do that? And the director in the interview was just like, it was just a fun little throwback. It wasn't really him, but you
don't like fun, Sergio.
I love fun. It's just it wasn't.
I love fun. Like, you actually got him to admit he loves fun. Don't fall for his spiel. Don't do it, Sergio.
I like
don't
fun,
fall for his tricks.
But when it's like a gotcha moment for the sake of like a middle finger to the audience, it's like, why? It doesn't make any sense.
I didn't see it as a middle finger. I saw it as a cute like nod and wink to the audience. That's what I saw. Let me ask you a question though. Let me ask you an honest question though. Originally, again, we were supposed to have had Black Widow, and then we were supposed to have Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then we were supposed to have had WandaVision. Do you think your opinion would be any different had we had that actual order, where you were getting the Marvel universe that you knew in the order that you were supposed to be getting it?
I don't think so. Black Widow looks like trash. The screenplay writers are trash. So you see what they're written before, they're trash. I mean, I don't think it would have been. It would have been the same dumpster fire. It would have been the same like the back of the bakery throwing out all their wet garbage. That dumpster juice coming out.
Son's lighting a cigar right now. By the way, he's just kicking back. He's. I'll shoot.
He's making his case. You keep interrupting him.
I'm
loving it.
No, it's fine. But listen, on both sides, we interrupt each other all the time. All the time.
It was a fun experiment. Let's be honest. It did something different. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. It was weird that the tone switched after episode 3, where everyone that was on board for the gimmick all of a sudden lost the gimmick, so they lost it, and then all the people that weren't on board for the gimmick finally got the type of show that they wanted, so then they were back on board. But then you're also talking about like 2/3 of the show someone enjoyed, and then 1/3 everybody else enjoyed. So it's definitely weird. Understand. That's not the case for Falcon though.
Am I weird? I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed all the sitcom
I thought it was
stuff,
fun.
I love,
and then I enjoyed
stuff.
when it pivoted.
Yeah,
I loved Bewitched when I was a kid. I Dream of Genie. I watched all that stuff. That stuff was great. And like WandaVision did like a piss poor watered down version of those. I mean, they weren't funny. They were very. It should have been one episode of that, and then go into all their Fantastic Marvel stuff. Because I think there was a unique Twilight Zone version of the show in which you're seeing something behind the veil, and I thought that was very interesting. I really liked that part of the show, and I think the director really shined when he did that. We're like, wait, there's something really sinister and weird going on behind the scenes, and every time he teased it, I was like, ooh, what does this mean? I wasn't one of those ones who were making theories. I thought those were completely outlandish. All these YouTube videos. Yeah, like it's so ridiculous. It's like, listen, we're not going to have this. We're not going to. Everybody just calm down with your expectations. But the fans really went wild with their fans. Oh my god! And the director, I saw in an interview, he was like, "Please don't think it's this character. Please don't think it's that. We're not doing this. Like that's not what we're doing." It was crazy. It was insane. And interesting. Like as the series was going along, he was watching the reactions, and he was like, "Wow, fans are coming up with some crazy things that we're not doing."
You're playing in a big playground, Haas. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I think that's what the director didn't get. Because like this was his first romp into Marvel. He was in sitcoms when he was a kid. I think he was in Growing Pains and a couple of those other things. He's been writing and directing TV shows. He did 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. Like 2 of my favorite episodes of Game of Thrones. One being the loot train where Daenerys Targaryen like takes Drogon and like rains down fire. And
that's a good episode. It's a really good episode.
Really good. Really good.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's a good episode.
I mean, so he knows how to write
nonsense episode, but it's a good episode.
Why was it a nonsense episode?
Because suddenly everybody could teleport in Game of Thrones.
That's the whole season. You can't blame the episode on that one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's when it was revealed to you that time didn't mean anything anymore. That's the episode where you were like, "No, we're not."
Just to tie it into May the 4th. The creators were too busy getting ready for Star Wars, though.
Yep,
the first two seasons
so crazy.
Garbage Star Wars, by the way.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're not doing it anymore. They're like, F this.
Yeah.
Netflix will give us a boatload of money and we can avoid, the wrath of the internet. Yeah, we're good.
And I think Disney was kind of relieved. They're like, "Woo, we don't have to get those guys on here. The guys that the internet hates. We kind of dodged the bullet. Take them, Netflix. Please take them. We dodged the huge bullet."
Can you imagine if they're like that?
God.
They're like that neighbor that just shows up at the door after like they were just on the news doing something horrible, and they're like, "Hey, we're here to hang out," and the guy's like, "Whoa,
You're like,
you can't."
"Great."
You know, I know we invited you over,
lawnmower back real quick.
but we don't live here anymore.
I know you're supposed to come over for game night, but we saw some stuff from you guys. Yeah. So huge bullet dodge. But like for Falcon Winter Soldier, I think it's great.
From start to finish?
Yeah, from start to finish. I was engaged from the beginning until the end.
Yeah. So you like boring characters then, and you like nothing new happening.
Wow. Dude,
Except
my
for Zemo
favorite-
dancing, which
Okay,
was great.
buddy.
Okay, my caveat is like I think Falcon is washed. I don't care about Anthony Mackie. I don't care about Falcon. I think he's a bum hero. He's not my Captain America. I think it was Bucky's show. I think it's everybody
Really?
else's
Bucky's
show.
Boy, oh boy.
I think
I
it's
never
everybody
heard.
else's show.
Hassan, I
other
thought
than
you had some
Falcon.
wrong opinions, but man, oh, man.
I'm not. I
think-
checked out, man. I'm not even hearing.
I think it was everyone else's show, but Falcon. Everyone else in the show was more interesting to me than Falcon. Every time Anthony Mackie and his weak chin, his weak jaw was on, I was like, "Get this guy,
Wow.
weak chin looking Papa
Wow.
Dog." His name is Clarence. He lives in his house with his parents. His parents have a really good marriage. 8 Mile. Because he's a character in 8 Mile who was really weak, and he kind of portrays the same thing in here. Like to me, he's not a superhero. They miscast him. You lose, sir. You get nothing.
Okay.
Good day. But I loved everybody else. I mean, John Walker was a better Cap than Falcon will ever be. I think he's more of the man. He's more of that dude than Falcon.
Dude,
I mean, the characters.
you need to
characters in the
stop
show.
because you've gone from nuclear hot take to like actual nuclear obliteration hot take.
Yeah, well, this also
Dial
went
it-
to the crazy train because he said it was like, engaging. Hassan and I have been talking about this. So so just to give you guys a recap, the first 2 episodes, I lost time because I was so bored in the first 2 episodes of the show.
Oh, man.
And Hassan's take was wait till it ends and let's see how it goes. Once Baron Zemo came onto the screen, I was like, all right,
I'm back
I'm
in.
going to
Wait.
excuse the ridiculous way he got broken out of prison.
Mike, quick question before
Yeah.
you continue is
Yeah.
did you like Winter Soldier or did you not like Winter Soldier?
No, Winter Soldier did not even need to be in this show.
No. Sorry,
he
the
made the
movie. I mean,
movie.
The movie. The movie's
How
great.
did you
Yeah,
feel? Where
Winter
does that
Soldier's
rank?
great.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed Winter Soldier, but he didn't need to be in the show. There was nothing about the show that he needed to be in. Like he had one story arc, which was pretty weak, that he killed that guy's son, and he's trying to make amends. Don't get me wrong; could have been a very deeply engaging storyline if they really cared about telling that, but they
Or
really
if
didn't.
they had 2
And he was
more
very, very
episodes.
And he was really non-essential because he just kind of stood around the whole time, like berating Falcon as if he was like the wife of the relationship somehow. and then when he finally in episode 5 he like becomes somewhat palatable as a character again.
The
where
best
he's like,
episode of the whole season, episode 5, by the way.
that was your favorite?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like it.
So-
I
so-
like
so
the
was that
character
again?
development. That's the one where they were just chilling in New Orleans.
And that's why Sergio didn't like that episode. 'Cause,
Yes,
character
those
development.
my
Come on,
favorite
smashy,
parts about
smashy.
these movies is like when you take the action characters out of the action element and you see what they're doing like when they're not like blowing stuff up.
Just guys being dudes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I also one thing I thought about this show and I really liked it is it actually I'm going to tie it back to Star Wars Day real quick.
I love it.
So when Dave Filoni was writing Clone Wars, he knew that when he was bringing his character Ahsoka, that he was putting Ahsoka next to Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, 2 characters that were already very well established. And he knew, okay, right off the bat, no one's going to be on board with this character. It doesn't matter what I do, they cannot stack up to them. So he made an incredibly annoying character of Ahsoka Tano right off the bat. You're not supposed to like this character. She's supposed to be annoying, and he gives her flaws.
Wait, that was on purpose?
That was on
Oh, yeah.
purpose. So he
What?
gave her- yes.
Insane.
So he intentionally made her
He's
annoying.
playing a long game.
And then throughout about a season and a half, takes him about a season and a half for him to actually give her story arcs that fixes all the things that you don't like about her. So by the time we're about halfway through season 2, she becomes the character you want to root for because it was going to be an uphill battle anyways. So I see this whole the whole show that we see here has learned that same lesson. The show isn't about the show. It's about putting the characters to where they need to be for going into phase 4. Like, people were going to be upset about Falcon being Captain America. Like, they're going to be mad about that. So you couldn't give him the shield right away. You had to, okay, let's give the guy that is like, okay, here's another guy that's trying to be Steve Rogers. And we're going to show you why you can't have a guy trying to be Steve Rogers, because there's not going to be another Steve Rogers. So we see the failure of that character before they give that shield to the person that they want to have it. And I see the same thing with Bucky, is they need to fix him being broken. He's coming into this being broken. And if we want him to be a bigger player in phase 4, he needs to fix what's wrong with him. And that's what this whole 6 episodes
sounds really great. Like, execution wise, I don't know if they really pulled that off. Hassan, I want to know your total take on the series, though, because this, again, we've been waiting for this. Wait till it's all over. Do you agree or disagree with what's been said here?
I agree with everything that Chris said.
I know. Well, I saw you nodding, so that's why I think that.
Truly salient.
I mean, look. First of all, I've been watching. There's a very famous writer that who does YouTube vlogs and stuff like that I was watching today, as a matter of fact, and he said people don't like first acts. They want to start their stories off at the end of the first act, so that they get for expedience. And so, because you do that, you have no investment in the characters or whatever. So, I mean, to your point, Michael, like, if they had just cut to the chase and started doing, blowing stuff up and moving things around without
they did blow stuff up, but didn't help.
Ton of stuff
in the very first episode.
Yeah.
So many blows up.
That was actually probably the best part of the first episode.
Yeah, but you're talking, you're shunning a lot of the development that was in there, and you saying it was boring and it made you, want to fall asleep and stuff like that. That's the unfortunate part of, like, telling a story. You gotta have these slow moments. You gotta have these the groundwork so that it pays off. It paid off for a lot of people, including myself. Unfortunately, you were not one of them. That's fine. I'm not here to dispute you. I don't give a damn what your opinion is. I haven't since we started this.
As I said last week, though, going into episode 5, I was like, wow, we're finally at a good place here.
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying, we were finally at a good place.
So then how did you feel about how it ended?
I didn't love how it ended. I loved Falcon's storyline.
Anyway, so
I didn't. No, hang on.
It did really well.
But this is the thing, right? to the point that Chris was saying, Falcon's storyline was actually the strongest in terms of where everything kind of went, right? He started out as he didn't want to be Captain America. He knew people weren't going to accept him. Blah blah blah. By the end, he gets to the point where he's like, it's like, no, this guy's Captain America. That's great. Like, he earned it. Like, he earned this mantle, whether people want to say he did or didn't. I'm of the belief that if you did the storyline in the comics, then as long as it's not something that's done specifically for the movies and TV that hasn't been done in the comics or explored in the comics, then I'm okay with it regardless. I knew, we all knew it was going to happen, especially if you knew the comics. Like, he took over the mantle in the comics when they had the whole Cap Hydra thing going on. So it's got a basis there. You knew that's how it was going to end. I just felt that the first 2 episodes, I'm with you, Hassan. I like the first acts. I like when they're setting things up that are actually compelling. The problem for me was,
I mean, we're weeks past the first 2 episodes. I get the first 2 episodes.
No, but my point. Hang on, I'm gonna tie this all in though. The problem with the first 2 episodes for me was the dynamic of Falcon and Winter Soldier. They didn't need to make Winter Soldier.
Falcon wasn't even in the first. I mean, Winter Soldier wasn't even in the first episode with Falcon. They didn't meet until the second episode.
No, but my point,
you didn't like the idea that. Yeah, but I mean, that's not a criticism. What do you mean they didn't need to? Did you not like him?
Who else was going to push Falcon, though? The whole idea is he comes in and says, nope, I'm not Captain America. Great. The only way for him to get back
Bucky's
on
like,
that.
Yeah, you're not.
Well, Bucky was like, you should have been,
didn't
but
say
you said
that, though.
Yeah. He needed someone
that
to
wasn't
push him.
Bucky's position. Bucky's position was you shouldn't have given up the shield.
Yep.
See, you're not even making your case. You're not. Okay, hold on. No, hold on. You said he didn't need to be in it. Did you not like him in the story?
I thought he was the number one reason that it was actually hampering.
What didn't you like about it? Didn't you like about him?
Weird married couple dynamic that they had, which was never
that's the
really
thing.
truly
That's a
established.
Whedonism. That's a Whedonism. They've been doing that since the beginning of time.
Whedonism, that's great.
Yeah, but
All right,
regardless
they've
of,
been doing that
regardless
since the
of
beginning
what
of
it
time.
is or isn't, I found him to be very annoying. Like I really found him to be
Okay,
annoying.
so you didn't like Bucky. I get you.
The dynamic between the two of them, and they are the title characters, and he dragged Falcon's storyline down for me, and Falcon's character, because Falcon basically, I think Sergio, you might have said it, or Chris might have said it. He was the guy in the background because of all this. He got pushed to the background because of all this, and I think that was a little.
So this is kind of what I've been saying from the beginning, though. Here's the problem, right? You didn't like Bucky. You didn't like that character, and you didn't think that his dynamic with Sam was good. You knew this by episode 2, right?
Yeah.
Well, you were in trouble because the show is called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I agree.
You didn't like one of the two. You didn't like one of the two. So the whole point was, like, if you don't like this character, no matter what he does, then you're not gonna like what you're seeing.
But I liked him prior to this show. That's the thing.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What does that mean?
It does matter. It matters that
I
they
like
didn't
carrots
him
until
right.
I didn't. It
matters because they.
I
did
like
not
chocolate cake until I got allergic to it.
But that's like sitting there saying like, you got to give the whole 6 episodes a chance, and it's like,
oh no. I said give the whole 6 episodes a chance to get you off my ass because I didn't want to hear about how much you hated it constantly, week after week after week. Now that we're at the end of it and I get to go on vacation and not hear about how much you hated Falcon.
Now we get to talk about Captain America 4. It's gonna be great.
And you get to talk about the making of next week.
Here's the thing, though. Right?
Thanks a lot.
By the end of so again, see episode 5. I'm all in. This is great. You took me 8 roads you didn't have to take me to, but somehow we got to this destination where everything is now starting to click. And then for some reason, they just decided to do like a typical, like, we're going to neatly wrap everything up in a bow. John Walker, by the end of episode 5, you're like, this guy's going to rip some S up. And what is he? And why is he all of a sudden accepted by Bucky and Falcon? Like, he literally just murdered.
Because he tried to help them.
He helped out when people needed him.
Yeah, but that's not how they set him up.
I agree, might be because when John Walker showed up, but Bucky and Falcon should have been like, whoa, you're a loose cannon. What are you doing here?
Right, you're a loose cannon. They're like,
give me a badge and your gun.
The only
John Walker would have been like, I'm here to help, but they've been like, whoa, buddy, I know you're a super soldier, but you are unhinged, okay, buddy? I agree that they were out there like, okay, thanks, you're here. Let's all go. We're friends.
The only beef they had with him is that he had the shield. Once they got the shield away from him, he could have done whatever he wanted. They didn't care.
Now he took the super soldier serum and is a loose cannon and is crazy, as Bucky said.
That's not their responsibility. That's the government's responsibility. They had bigger fish to fry, right?
Yeah.
They had to figure out. He had to get the shield back and figure out whether or not he wanted to actually be part of whatever the system was that he was working for, and then have a montage of nearly getting his head decapitated by the shield for about maybe a minute too long, I'll admit. So and then they had to go stop the Flagsmashers. They don't have time for John Walker, and plus John Walker got like court-martialed and kicked out of the military, so they figured that situation is over.
Yeah,
if the government didn't throw him in jail, it's not their responsibility to do that.
No, they're not going to throw him in jail, but they were all of a sudden just like as if they were all like Bucky puts his arm around him. Like I'm like that. You literally
because he helped
last
them
episode.
At the end.
Like, I'm not sure what
because he helped them. That's all he needed to do.
It was too quick.
But he was trying to help them in the beginning,
6
and they're like, no, we don't want your help, and blah 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 blah. So I don't know.
They didn't want to be part of. They didn't want anything to do with him because he was Captain America, and they didn't believe he was Captain America.
And also, they thought that they had another way to approach Carly, so they tried the diplomatic way, and that's what they're trying to do all along. Now, Carly, they realize has taken it over the edge, crossed the line. So now they're like, we just got to stop her. So if this guy's going to show up, and he knows he messed up. He's seen consequences from it. He shows up, and they're in the middle of a fight, and guess what? He's not trying to fight someone for no reason. He's trying to fight people because there's actually a clear and present danger of what's going on. So he's on board.
They saw this clown.
James Mac, let's hear from him.
No.
Yeah, we haven't.
I just want to bring up an interesting point, and it's a funny idea. Does anybody wish that TV shows sometimes just ended like right when, like, for something to play out, like when Falcon's talking to the head of the Flagsmashers, right? Do you wish that he just breaks through to her and they're just like the show's over at that point? Does anybody else wish for that?
Yes.
And wish for nothing?
It's
just
2
to get
episodes
turned
early.
sideways.
Right when they had
He just talks to Carly.
She's
And
like, "You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
you're
I don't
right.
need to do this anymore."
Yeah, right.
it's just like
That
We're
would've
watching
want some
too
more
many
tea.
episodes of how it should have ended.
yeah, exactly.
That would have been awesome, but but the whole world would have burned after that. The internet would have caught
Well,
fire.
let it burn,
They were
man.
like-
I'm just saying, like,
They-
I just
yeah,
wish
I'm
sometimes
not
that things
opposed to
ended
it.
that way.
There was a lot-
I'll
look,
agree
there-
that
like I said, there was a lot of good in the season finale, and there's a lot of stuff where, again, I loved Falcon's entire arc. I love the build up from episode 5 into episode 6 to where he does take the mantle up, so I can root for him, and I want to root for him, and it's logical and it makes sense, and he's
And
a
the
hero,
costume
and I
looks
can
great.
stand by him.
Costume looks real great.
But again, the John Walker thing was just kind of like, well, again, I just did a lot of these like, during the whole 6 episodes. There's a lot of times you were criticizing WandaVision for the gimmick of it and how it wasn't traditional Marvel stuff, but at no point did I sit there and go, like, I got at least what they were doing. Everything made logical sense. The actions of the characters all fit previous versions of themselves before they got into WandaVision, and B, reacting to what was happening to them in the show.
What exactly didn't make sense?
I literally just told you everything that didn't make sense. Where Bucky, coming into the show, Bucky and Falcon were quasi buddies. They knew a friend of each other.
They
but
hated each other.
They didn't. But in
The last time
Endgame,
they were hanging out was
in Endgame,
really- I mean,
They didn't even hang out in Endgame.
Did
Yeah,
they
they
high
didn't-
five? They fought a battle in upstate New York after coming back to life for being dead. For
I know,
5 years.
that's my
Yeah,
point
for
though.
being dead after 5 years.
But they came into this series as if they had just gone through like a 2-year breakup or
Let me
something
a-
like
let me
that.
ask you
Like they were like,
How
like a
would
2-year
you-
marriage, and they just broke
Let
up.
me ask
Like
you
it was.
something. How would you feel if your best friend gave away his most prized possession to someone that you barely even know?
Yeah. So then why is Falcon
would
having
do
him
it.
hang around? Because they're obviously not friends.
Because he has a responsibility to.
Yeah, he's in the title.
It's not, well,
It's like
yes,
he's in
but-
the
I mean,
title.
it's not. I
Falcon
mean,
and Winter
the
Soldier.
way it was
Just call the show Falcon next time.
the way it was set up, he didn't really have a choice, right? He was going on a mission. Bucky was like, "I'm coming with you," and since he is affiliated, he is Avengers adjacent, right? Even though he wasn't technically an Avenger, they let him go along. Right. He jumped out of the plane without talking to to Bucky about anything.
Nobody else
Bucky
can
jumped
hang.
out of the plane after.
Yeah.
That
Right?
was really
So-
annoying too. That whole jumping out of a plane thing.
Yeah, it's so weird
God,
when your
you really don't
superhero
like it.
characters can do superhero things. It's
He
really
has,
think-
he has a vibranium
That's
arm.
just
I
That's
think
really
the Winter
weird.
Soldier, like I think the Winter Soldier, like he really served being on Falcon's team by Falcon not having the ability to be an actual hero, right? Like whenever John Walker stepped up to Falcon and Falcon would talk all this junk, Falcon knew that he had Bucky right behind him to serve up John Walker.
Actual
John
hero stuff?
would
Bucky's
serve-
the muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, when they had Zemo and they're all in that apartment together, and John Walker comes in like, "All right, you're coming with me," and Falcon was like, "Oh, the only thing you're running in here is your mouth." And John Walker's like, "All right, I'll put down the shield."
Get him,
then." And I
Bucky.
was like, "Oh, what now, Falcon? What now?" He's about to get served up, and Bucky would have had to step in. So the whole point of Bucky was him to step up and be the strength that Falcon lacked. Can we all agree that Carly
No.
Morgenthau was trash?
No,
Can we all
not
agree that
even
Carly
not even
Morgenthau was
gonna.
trash?
You don't think Carly was trash?
I thought it was a good.
I think it was trash.
It's
I think that the Flagsmashers thing was all right. I mean, we know there's like an actual flag smasher, but they made it into like a whole group.
Mhm.
I would have liked if
Yeah.
they went after a big bad instead of this whole, because the whole like
Yeah.
group thing didn't kind of work for me. Like I get what they were doing. They
Yeah.
came back to life. They didn't have a place in this world, and they were led by this whiny teen. They even said in the last episode some whiny.
I don't think they
teenager.
came back to life. I think they were alive while
They were alive the whole
during the
time.
blip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
why they
Mm.
liked they liked the world better that way.
Oh, that's right. Because they were like
before
everybody
came
came
back.
together, and
There
there was
were no
even like
borders.
whales in the Hudson for like like years, whatever. But it's just weird because I just didn't believe like this like little girl who could be like my cousin is just like, oh, I'm in this angry teenager, I'm taking over the world. All right, good job, cuz. Just do your best.
They also
You know what I mean?
created
Like, I
an
just
issue, though.
didn't-
Think about it, though, too. They also created an issue that actually doesn't have. There's no bad guy, even though they made it out to seem that the people who were like forcing the people to move were the bad guys. It's like, no, dude, they literally just all came back to life. It's really like an
I think
impossible
that's-
situation.
I think that's the point. I think the whole point was that
Mhm.
like we understand what you're doing. You're just doing it the wrong way.
No,
That's
Gray
the whole- that was the
morality
whole
in
point of
this
the
show.
story.
Come now, sure.
No, but it's not. It's not a question of at the end, Falcon's entire speech though is basically like, "You're just doing everything wrong." And it's like, dude, what do we do with 5 million? Like, it's like, okay, what would you do?
No,
Like,
but I mean, but
the villain was the government
idea,
all along.
Right, I mean, but it's
the
like,
idea was that they were labeling the people that they were moving as terrorists and as bad people, and then that's like, we understand the situation. As I said before, we understand the situation. You're just going about it the wrong way.
It's Killmonger was right.
The same with the
again.
Carly. Yeah, it's the same with the Carly, where he was actually getting to her, right? Because he's saying, "I get what you're talking about, but you're doing it wrong."
You can't
right?
kill people.
And then John Walker came in, and then and all hell.
Like, hey, you're under arrest. Come here, come with me. I know you're a super soldier.
He was doing what he was supposed to be doing. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing, but he was doing it all wrong. That was the whole point. The whole point of the whole story is that all this stuff is complicated. You can't have a simple answer to a complicated problem. So no one's doing
things wrong, though. You're
much like every show, every
when I'm talking. No, they're
breakdown. That's the problem.
What's that?
The problem isn't wrong. The idea of doing something about the problem isn't wrong. The way you're going about solving the problem is wrong. That's the wrong in this situation, and that's why. That's what makes all the deaths and because of the misunderstanding, that makes it all a tragedy, because nobody had to die. If everybody knew how to talk to each other, nobody would have to die. And unfortunately, by the time they figured it out, it was 6 episodes in, there was a couple of 100 people who were dead.
And Baron Zemo's still rocking it. He's still going in his jail cell.
There you go. There you go.
He's just raving.
All right.
Yeah.
Be careful, because if he doesn't like what you say, he's gonna read a book, and then you're gonna blow up.
That guy does not like super soldiers. That's what I learned about this show. He really does not like.
And apparently, I would have rather they had him be the main thing, because every time I turn back to Carly, I'm like, I do not care. Yes. Like Zima was more interesting. That this stuff with what's her name, Agent Sharon, like that was interesting. The whole
power
thing
broker,
like Madripoor, the power broker. I was like, ooh, what's all this stuff?
Like
we have the power broker, we have Zemo, and we're battling this teenage
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Right.
Elaine shows up.
What? Elaine, or what's her name from Veep? She played more of like her Veep character here, which
Selena.
I love. If you know Selena Myers. I was like, oh, Selena Myers is here. Let's go.
Yeah.
You got iCarly.
Yeah. iCarly.
She was supposed to be in Black Widow,
right?
But
she is.
She is. I mean, it's all out of order now because of the COVID situation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be out of order anyway, because the Black Widow movie takes place right.
Yeah, but I mean, that was supposed to be the introduction of the character and whatever, and then this was supposed to be even more of a surprise, because this is where she is now, and that she still exists, and that she's But
so evil.
Also, the Flagsmashers were supposed to release a virus that was, which was
I saw
supposed
that.
to be the solution.
Cut that out.
I wonder why.
Just
do it.
For some strange reason, they didn't think that was
do it. I mean, look, it's
it's like the whole thing with like a New York Comic Con. There was like some school shooting somewhere, which is always unfortunate. But they canceled the Punishers panel that people only bought their passes for. People paid for I forget the actor's name. They paid for his autograph, all that stuff, and. Yeah, John Bernthal. And that stuff isn't cheap, like $200 to $300, something like that. And they canceled it because of it's just like, listen, people can separate those kind of things,
Yeah.
Like I get it, but
nobody wants to be held. Nobody wants to be held liable for it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it. You mean now when you're the money guy, you don't want to be held responsible for it.
Yeah.
That's
so
the bottom line.
if it was the airborne like pathogen thing for this show, I think they still could have done it. I don't think people have been like, my pearls, I'm shocked and chagrined. Oh my god.
This is a world where coronavirus does not exist, right?
I think the story would have been pretty much the same. I think if the dynamics, basically, you guys are talking about like fundamental problems in the architecture of the show in and of itself. I don't think whoever the villain was or whatever the MacGuffin was, I don't think it would have made your experience any better. I think you would have disliked it regardless, because you dislike various things that were the actual foundation of the show, the dynamic between the two characters, the complexity of whatever it is what they were dealing with. It wouldn't have been any better if like Darth Vader was the bad guy,
that would have been. Wait a minute.
I know. I'm using it metaphorically. You have no head for satire. That's the problem.
Darth Vader actually shows everyone. Spoiler alert.
Synergy,
It's a
everybody.
secret episode they dropped
Synergy.
only on YouTube.
So let
Come
me
on.
ask one question to the group and then one question for Hassan specifically.
No, I don't want to
Do you
answer any
think
questions specifically.
do you think there was too much going on in the 6 episodes? Was there too many ingredients to balance? Because we talked about there's Falcon and Winter Soldier and their dynamic. Then you had John Walker and Battlestar. Battlestar was his name? What was his name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Battlestar, yeah.
Look at me, got it right. You got them in there. You got Julia Louis-Dreyfus somehow, gets dropped in there as well too. You got Batroc. Well, they just kind of like casually were like, hey, we got Batroc. You got Carly and all that stuff going on.
You got
then
Isaiah
you got Sharon
Bradley.
Carter and the
We
Power
haven't
Broker
talked
going on.
about Isaiah
And
at
you
all.
throw in Isaiah Bradley, who's the truth storyline, which in and of itself could have been the basis for the 6 episodes.
He
which
is
killing me.
he's the best part of the entire show.
Yeah,
That is
And-
a
and-
master class in acting from Carl Lumley.
yeah, no, amazing.
Yes, Mantis.
And so
Oh crap, that is Mantis. Oh wow.
Yes,
Put that
yes,
together.
Mantis.
Also,
Martian-
completely
Martian
forgot about
Mantis.
Mantis until right now.
yeah, so I guess you know what my take is because I just said it. But do you agree or disagree?
Over
that there's
and
too
over
much
and
going
over
on?
again.
What's that?
Oh, he wasn't saying
I
anything.
don't know.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say I think that there was a perfect amount. So like there was as far as like overarching the show, there was an A plot, a B plot, and a C plot. There was really 3 paths we're following. However, like the events that happened to each character was pretty much self-contained to each episode. Obviously, once Zemo comes in, he gets added to the A plot, what have you. But I don't think I think there was enough that you could focus on in each episode, and it wasn't until everything came together that you really had to focus on all 3. It was kind of like, okay, now I'm looking at A and C. Okay, now I'm looking at A and B. Okay, I mean A was always there, but there was some episodes that kind of lean more on the John Walker stuff and some stuff that lean more on the Flagsmasher stuff. I actually think it was an incredibly well balanced show.
Yeah.
Ultimately wrong. Hassan, final question before we go into break. If you had to recommend one of the Marvel shows to a friend, would you recommend WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Do you really think that you don't know the answer to this already?
I
There's
don't.
only one right answer. The other one's wrong.
I'm just asking, and I'll go. We'll go around the room.
If I had only one show
to
to recommend,
Like you sit there and say, like someone's like, "Hey, I want to check out one of the Marvel shows."
yeah, I would say I would definitely recommend Falcon and Winter Soldier, mainly because
Boom.
it's
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
mainly because it's linear.
Yeah.
And WandaVision was not linear. So, and also WandaVision required you to have seen so much material just to understand the basis of what she was doing. Whereas not a lot of material had to be viewed before you could understand where anybody was coming from in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Casey,
I will say I think this show has at least the stuff with Isaiah is some of the best moments that I've seen out of Marvel. I don't know why. There was just something so human and so real about it. And Marvel Comics is supposed to be the world outside your window. I loved WandaVision, but I would have to tell someone to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, if only for that.
Chris,
Definitely Falcon the Winter Soldier. 100%. Again, good experiment with WandaVision, but as far as a straightforward story, the only 2 things you really need to know about is, okay, this guy's taking up the mantle of someone else, and that the whole world came together to fight a crisis, and now they're trying to deal with what to do afterwards. Really, that's it. Yeah.
Jay?
So,
Falcon and Winter Soldier, only in hopes after episode 5 to see kind of like a Bubba Gump kind of shrimping boat like spinoff to be born. That's specifically the only reason why, though.
and Sergio.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would say definitely Falcon. And to your question earlier, I think there's enough elements in the show to where it's really interesting. I don't think I was bored during a single one. Maybe episode 1 had some slower pace, but after that, it really picked up. I think they could have done a lot more episodes. I don't know why they only did 6 when they and at WandaVision, how many? What, like 8, 9, something like that?
Yeah, 9.
Why don't you
9,
just
9.
9? Yeah. Take the complete budget from that show, throw it in the dumpster, and then do more episodes of this, like 20 or something like that. Because I wanted to see more of this, and hopefully there is more. Is this going into a movie?
Captain America 4.
Captain America.
4. That's right.
So we'll have another uneven movie because it's basically the same guys who did the TV show. So as usual, you guys are all wrong. I mean, it's unbelievable, but you guys are here. When we come back, we will wrap this up with a little pop luck dinner. Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and the disruptors behind it. I got 4 disruptors in the room with us right now. The guys from Button Smash, go check out, again, their weekly show, Thursdays, at twitch.tv/weareroguematter, and then a very special May the 4th episode coming up next week. And then also, again, like we kind of mentioned earlier, go on to the Facebook pages, go on to the Twitter feeds, vote in their polls. They're going to be diving into all the Star Wars game euphoria that they can possibly come up with to celebrate May the 4th. So it's going to be
Tell us why
exciting.
we're wrong.
What's
That's what
that?
we want you to do. Tell us why we're wrong.
I love it.
Come in and yell at us.
I told you guys were all wrong this last segment, so
Yeah.
it worked out pretty good.
We appreciated it too.
Yeah, Hassan doesn't. He does not. We've been doing this long enough. He's like, no, I'm good. He's the Bucky to my Winter Soldier. That didn't make any sense. He's the Falcon to my Winter Soldier. How's that? All right. Call this segment Pop Luck Dinner. We don't have too much on the docket, but we got some news from around the world, from around the pop culture world. I'm going to say 2 headlines that are somewhat related.
Why didn't you explain the rules during the break so we wouldn't have to waste like showtime explaining the rules to these people?
Because maybe someone who's never heard the show before is going to be listening and going, I wonder what Pop Luck Dinner is.
Nobody listening right now
It's
has
a
never
new
listened to the show
segment.
before.
It is literally a new segment. It is literally 1 week old. See, this is why you're second chair and I'm first chair. I have to do all this dirty work that goes into this
the
here.
pain.
It's our job, Mike. It's our job.
It is. It's not easy. Not easy.
Heavy as the crowd.
I pick 2 headlines. I read them out loud, and then Hassan picks which one he would like to go into. But we'll toss this up to you guys because you're out there, the Button Smash guys instead. And we'll let you guys perform Pop Luck Dinner. Here we go. 2 headlines. Avengers fans campaign to bring Robert Downey Jr. back as Tony Stark.
Whoa! I saw that.
Or
Embarrassing.
Captain America 4 reportedly separate from Chris Evans's Marvel project. Which headline do you want to go into?
Go with the first one.
All right. Done and done.
Okay.
Although Robert Downey Jr. left the Tony Stark role behind in 2019, some Avengers fans are campaigning for his return. It's been 2 years since Robert Downey Jr. was last seen on the big screen as Tony Stark, but some fans want to see him return in similar fashion to the Release the SnyderCut campaign. A minority of Marvel fans have paid for a billboard in LA to try and persuade the studio to resurrect Tony Stark, although hashtag bring back Tony Stark to life isn't particularly very catchy. It's impossible.
Hashtag get over it.
It's impossible that Marvel Studios could bring him back as, spoilers, he died. But resurrecting him for just the sake of it would feel like a disservice to the character because he obviously sacrificed himself at the end as well too. Besides, there's an Ironheart series in the works for Disney Plus. It isn't impossible that an AI version of Tony Stark might appear to aid Riri Williams as he does in the comics, but it's probably best to wait a few years. Here's the question, would you like to see Robert Downey Jr. return to the MCU as Tony Stark, or should the character stay dead? Who wants to dive in?
I'll start.
Casey.
No, death is a revolving door in comic books, and everyone who has ever read a superhero comic book is absolutely sick of the concept of killing off a character for shock value and just bringing him back because money, my dear boy. Mike, I don't know if you're ever going to cover Death of Superman for Wednesday Forever.
We do actually. Look at you. That's episode 4.
Unbelievable.
I like it.
Nailed it. Well, I mean, look, you know everything about the ins and outs of what that did to the industry, and nothing was sacred anymore.
Yeah.
You don't give a character a really great, heartwarming, made a grown man cry kind of a death in a movie and then backwalk it.
Unless
Ain't
there's
right.
lots of money involved.
Unless there's lots of money. Well, look, you're going to get your taste of Tony Stark in Black Widow. So,
Sergio, would you have any problem if he came back as like a hologram? Like the kind of suggestion.
Yeah, I think it would lean into the whole, there's no consequences in Marvel. You bring people back. I mean, just look at WandaVision. Vision's back. Okay, wait, wow, we did it. I think the fans do need to get over it. I mean, we don't need, and I think this is also a fault on Marvel, right? Look at that last Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. They still relied on Tony Stark and his legacy, right? Like the villains came up because of Tony Stark. There's still Tony Stark tech. Spider-Man isn't really Spider-Man. He's young Iron Man. I mean, I can't blame these people because Marvel is still holding on to Tony Stark, his tech, his legacy. It's like they can't just let him go. Just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Yeah, so seriously, but I think these fans are insane. It's just he's not coming back. He's done. Robert Downey is done. He's trying to be Iron Man in real life with his new robotic stuff and trying to save the world and being a philanthropist for real. And we have so many more characters, right? and there's so many characters in Marvel. I mean, we don't need to rely on Iron Man forever. I mean, I don't think he should come back. We have so many more characters to explore and so many more stories.
Sergio, you said it, man. You just let him go, right? The nerds got to stop being weird and creepy about this. You know what I mean? And stop holding people hostage or holding characters hostage. It's sad to see. It's sad to see them kind of writhe around, being I can't live without having Tony Stark in some sort of movie that's going to be coming up. It's creepy. It's weird. You guys got to stop. Just let it go.
All right, we got one more round, and this one I'm gonna have Hassan pick because I think this is good. It's kind of related to stuff we talk about, but it's also related to what your show is going to be on Thursday as well too. Two headlines, Hassan: Mortal Kombat tops Godzilla vs. Kong in reported HBO Max views, or Zack Snyder's Justice League didn't help boost HBO Max subscribers. Which headline do you want to go with?
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, look at you. Playing to the crowd here. I love it.
I knew which one you wanted.
Well, actually, you know what? You know what's funny? If you didn't pick that one, it would be good because then I could be like, hey, they're going to talk about it on Thursday. But I'm glad you picked it.
Win-win.
Godzilla vs. Kong was the first big movie from Warner Brothers to hit both HBO Max and theaters this year under the controversial release model. The crossover saw some of the best box office returns during the pandemic and brought plenty of eyes to the streaming service. Mortal Kombat became the next big release on HBO Max over the weekend, and it put up bigger numbers than Godzilla vs. Kong. According to Samba TV, Mortal Kombat earned 3.8 million views in U.S. households, which trumps Godzilla's 3.6 million. These numbers make Mortal Kombat the biggest debut for HBO Max to date. In theaters, Mortal Kombat has 50 million in total gross so far. Hassan, do you think we will see a sequel to Mortal Kombat when based off of these streaming numbers?
It's a possible event, but we don't know. We don't know how much money was invested in Mortal Kombat in the first place to be able to determine as to whether or not.
Question mark?
That's it.
I heard it was made on a actually obscenely small budget.
The Room has a bigger budget than 5 million.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we would have to do the research to find out exactly how much money was spent to make it, and then how much money it actually made, not generated, not revenue or box office, but how much it actually made to determine as to whether or not it would have a sequel. However, by all metrics that we can measure right now, most likely it will get a sequel. The worser ones from the 90s got sequels, so why not this one?
Did you guys watch the film?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't. So no spoilers.
Yeah. I watched the movie. I remember
It's all sequel bait, baby. This entire movie is a prequel for a movie that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
They actually did say they're going to make this supposed to be like a trilogy.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see
A
like
Mortal
a crossover
Kombat
between
trilogy?
them and
There's also
DC,
supposed to be a solo trilogy, but that doesn't seem to be happening either. So
True, very true.
Which is too bad because there should be. That was actually really entertaining, and I enjoyed that. I remember Mortal Kombat in 1995 was the first movie I ever snuck into.
Wow,
and then I got the guy who got us in trouble by being like, "That movie was awesome. It was so great. Like, thanks, man." And the manager like standing behind him. He's like, "Thank you for what?" And I'm like, "Gotta go."
Oh,
Yeah.
That makes so much sense, actually. That explains so many things for the last 5 years.
I'm just glad that it made more money and got more views. And Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was it wasn't a bad movie. It was more coherent because it was longer. But this whole like restore the Snyderverse thing is going way too far.
Well, I don't understand it. the Snyderverse is restored. They never got rid of it. It's still Snyder's Wonder Woman. It's still Snyder's Aquaman.
It's still Snyder's Wonder Woman.
It's still Snyder's everything, right?
and the same fans are boycotting HBO Max because they don't want any other movie to come out. You see how they were review bombing Godzilla vs. Kong before it even came out because they want the studio to make more. It doesn't make any sense. Like, hey, the platform that Zack Snyder released on and his future stuff will release on, we're gonna review. We're gonna make sure you do bad until you have more Snyder movies.
Yeah, because that'll make them want to work with Zack Snyder.
It's so dumb. These passionate children. But reportedly the Mortal Kombat
they probably are children.
5 million. Oh yeah, probably are. Like 15-year-old, 40-year-old man children. And they're all psychos. But yeah, Mortal Kombat had a reported budget of 55 million, and it kind of showed. I overall enjoyed the movie. There are critiques those coming up, but overall enjoyed the movie. But there were some stuff wrong with the movie. But I do want to see what they do next.
I don't care.
Damn.
I'll talk about it on Thursday, but I got it.
That's as good a segue as we're going to get. Tune into these guys. We're Rogue Wave. We're here every Wednesday night. Tune into these guys every Thursday. They're going to talk Mortal Kombat movie. They're going to talk about all the video game stuff that's out there, news, reviews, everything video game related. These guys are all on top of it. And then tune in Tuesday. Again, twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter, May the 4th. Spectacular. Next week, we'll do Revenge of the 5th. And we'll dive into this new Star Wars series coming out. No, we're on the 5th, I think.
Yeah, I know. But it's not Revenge of the 5th. It's Revenge of the 6th.
And then
but
it'll be the day after.
But we're on the 5th.
Revenge of the 5th.
So we can't have Revenge because it'll be on the 5th. You got to come up with a better one.
Return
Do
of
the
the 5th?
501st on the 5th.
What's that?
It is
Do the
Revenge of the
501st. It's Revenge of the 5th. It's been Revenge of the 5th, and then there's also been Revenge of the 6th. And then I think last year everybody decided it was the 6th because it sounds like
Empire Strikes Wednesday.
That worked pretty good for us last year because our show was on the 6th, so we called it Revenge of the 6th. But we'll go Revenge of the 5th because it's on the 5th. And we're going to review the new Star Wars cartoon show that's coming out because
it's May 501st. That's what you can do. There you go.
Hey,
Cinco de Star
May
Wars.
501st. There you go.
you heard it here
There you go.
first.
I wish you didn't.
Hopefully it takes off.
Did.
Hashtag it away.
Oh
Gentlemen,
my
thank you
God.
so much for being on.
Always a pleasure.
Go
Absolutely.
check us out, roguematter.com. We will see you guys next week.
Rogue Wave.